Because that's a hell of a discovery.
Oy vey, yes.
Yeah.
So, we all got verklempt, and we just got all excited, and, those are my favorite kinds of moments, is to find these amazing performances that are, like I said, who knows what we've got. So, I love to think that we'll continue to find these very special moments as time goes on. But in terms of, for your listeners out there, are we holding back some really golden stuff? No, not holding back. Not holding back.
Good.
We're working on different projects.
Yeah, it's just a lot. How much other stuff do you have, Jeff, related in the pipeline right now outside of the movie? What else are you working on?
Well, we're finishing up the licensing, when you go around to do something for the love of it, like
Right.
the documentary, Amazing Grace, and it all came out of those girls' pockets, and everybody signed off to do it for nothing as long as it was for festival. Now the girls actually have distribution for Sony, and there's a couple people who own licensing for songs that are involved in the soundtrack that are holding up for big bucks.
Oh, jeez.
So that's what's been holding up, because they've been going back and saying, look, if you ask for this much, this guy over here is claiming most favored nations, and even though we could just cut him out, we just, he wants the same money as you, Mr. Page. So,
Yeah.
I thought, can we ask you to kind of come down a little bit so that these greedy guys over here, so we don't have to pay them as much as we pay you. And so they've had to be going back and forth. That's the thing that's been holding it back. I'm loving to think we'll have it ready for release in the fall, because there's some exciting things that are going to be happening then, too.
Excellent.
The call for a huge star-studded tribute to Jeff has heretofore gone unanswered, and once I said yes, I knew it was going to be some kind of a snowball. So we started with the idea of doing a one tribute concert at St. Anne's in New York in May, and the next thing we knew, it was something we had to put off until the fall, because there were so many individuals who said, no, wait a minute, I'm not available then, but if you do it in the fall, I can do it. So now we're trying to get those people back together again. St. Anne's, and now there are other promoters who have said, oh, wait a minute, I can do something over here, and someone else. So now we have something at St. Anne's at Brooklyn, the very church where the Tim Buckley tribute was, and Jeff was first introduced to the world, where he performed so many times, and where his memorial services were held. We're looking at that possibly in September, but if not in September, definitely in October. We're talking to Ben Harper, Amy Mann, John Mayer, John Legend. They're just a whole long list of people, Chris Martin, people who want to be involved in this. The next one will be at the end of September. Right now we're holding the date of September 30th for Mud Island Amphitheater in Memphis, Tennessee, where we will have the lawns there. It's just an amazing, beautiful place overlooking the place where Jeff went missing and where his body was found. So it'll be a very spiritual day. I'm going to take a delegation of Jeff Buckley fans with me to Al Green's church on Sunday morning. We'll have a day for Jeff Buckley fans at the Memphis Zoo the day before. And then in November will be the House of Blues on the 16th of November, and then the very famous Chicago tribute. It'll be their 10th annual tribute to Jeff. And they've had to expand it to 2 and 3 nights because they sell out in one day. And this year they want to add the Metro as their 3rd night. So they're going to take the show to the Metro where Jeff performed. And that one, I think, has a capacity of 1,500. But the biggest show is going to be the one in Memphis. And the one at St. Anne's with the Artist's Den will be filmed for DVD. So that's going to be available for sale, not only to the Artist's Den members, people who joined the Artist's Den, but to Jeff Buckley fans through our website. So the DVD of the concert will be available in conjunction with the album at a reduced price. So we've got all kinds of things that we're trying to promote. Then, the other project I'm working on is a DVD version of Grace.
Oh, excellent.
We have found Jeff's performing all but one song from Grace on European television with beautiful 3 and 4 camera shoots and great lighting and all of that other stuff. And we have a lot of audio of him and video interviews with journalists that we would like to use right now. The concept is to take those live performances and meld them together with Jeff's own voice, this as voiceover, describing how the music comes through for him and answering those questions that he so often had to answer for journalists, because we have his voice on tape. So that's for spring of next year. And beyond that, I think there's radio shows that we've talked about, but we haven't really begun working on that.
That's a lot to have in the pipeline.
It is, and to do right. And we can only do them one at a time. And, you know, when people say, oh, well, they're scraping the bottom of the barrel, I look at somebody on my team and go, oh, we haven't even started that yet. It's been all golden so far.
Yeah.
You know, the legacy re-releases of Shanae and Grace and Mystery White Boy and Live at Olympia. That's not. I don't think that's dumping material on the market.
Not at all.
By any
No. And there's still.
There's.
I'm sure that somewhere there has to be Australian masters from his tours there, and there's going to be more European stuff. Do you think there's any particular reason that he seemed to connect immediately with a European market quicker than he did here in the U.S.?
Well, I think if you look at the age demographics of the European market, and also just the plain sophistication. I mean, I don't know. Is this a G-rated show?
You know,
they don't mind naked. They don't mind a lady's naked breasts in Europe. You know what I mean?
Right.
They don't go all at Twitter over that. A little more sophisticated audience, because let's face it, we were listening to Hootie and the Blowfish.
Yeah, at that point.
When Grace went platinum in Australia and in England. He's number one. This album is number one in Ireland right now on the chart.
So real?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's in the top 40 all over Europe right now.
It's
so and on top 10 iTunes for 2 weeks now.
Yeah, that I saw yesterday. Actually, it was weird because we the ad servers that we use for our website, the network that comes up, you know, obviously the label will buy space and then it's kind of random.
You bet. And that's really huge that they've done that. That's huge.
But it popped up on our site the day that I confirmed the interview with the woman. I was like, oh, wow, I'll be interviewing Mary. That's really excellent. And then all of a sudden it pops up. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Now, a little bit, do you deal a lot with newer artists that have reached out to you as fans of Jeff? The reason I ask is because obviously you were at South by Southwest and met with Scott Rinning from the Cinematics after his performance of Grace.
Right. Well, you know, it all depends on my proximity. Debbie, a friend of mine who was in the room at the time that they started setting up and announced the song that they were going to sing and dedicated it to Jeff. And she came running to the road recovery booth where I was sort of supporting my little favorite charity there, and dragged me, said, you've got to come now, so dragged me. We were running across the hall, you know, it's a big hall, to get there in time to listen to them. And it really was a lovely performance.
Yeah.
You know, they're talented people. I love to hear people giving a go at Grace. I mean, that's huge. That's not an easy one to do, and then make it their own. That's even more important, I think. I came up afterwards, and that they were speechless. They were like schoolgirls, curtsying and ducking their chins, and they just couldn't even look at me in the face. I gave them a great big hug. So sweet, really sweet young man. I loved it. Oh,
it's well, I mean, for two small kids that grew up, I mean, they're a band of four that grew up in Glasgow. You know, the connection to the European market that Jeff's music always seemed to have. For them to actually be meeting your mom, it's basically like touching the Holy Grail.
It's the closest thing, and you know, I try to avoid. That's why I try to avoid going to the tributes every year, because there are quite a few that happen ad hoc, you know, just different times of the year, and not just on the 29th of May or on his birthday in November, because I don't want any one of them to become the official one, or I don't want to like pontificate like the Pope is coming down to kind of bless the masses or the little peeps, and I want it to continue to go on its own as long as it goes on as it's on its own. Because if I start to be organizing them and making them happen, you know, year in and year out, and assigning someone to create in every town a Jeff Buckley tribute, then it won't stand on its own. You know, it won't happen of its own energy, and I count on that happening. I don't ever see it ending, but if it does, I want it to be of its own accord, and Jeff will be rediscovered again. I mean, if it's lost for a little bit, it will be rediscovered by some other amazing singer who's looking for material that challenges them and makes them dig deep down inside themselves.
Mary, thank you so much. Good luck.
You're welcome, honey. Thank you.